I'm going to be making the Zukhanye Dress by Noma Ndlovu. I have been making the Zukhanye Dress, which is a pattern by knitwear designer Noma Ndlovu, and I'm done. Today, I actually want to talk about what it's been like making this pattern and why the garment matters so much to me. Not just as a pattern, but actually as a way of being in my body, and as a way of being in time and being in the world right now. All the way through making this dress, I kept thinking about, the beauty of making something slowly, making something that asks you to be patient, that asks for your presence, for your attention in a moment where, time is treated like this commodity and speed is valorized. I really want to take you along with me and talk about what it has meant to me to make this, what I've learned and what I've treasured. I hope you enjoy this episode. I ordered these balls of yarn. It's Papyrus Fibra Natura in silver grey color from I Love Yarns, and it's arrived. It doesn't look like the amount I ordered, but I guess they pack it in for good reason, of course. Let's see. Wow. So yeah, I ordered 10 balls. I had one ball already that I ordered to just check. Hi everyone, just checking in. So today is it's Tuesday the 18th. It's 20 minutes past 9 at night, and I have finally cast on the Zukhanye dress. It feels momentous because I've been talking about this pattern for a long time, and I want to vlog it, and I don't always find time in my day to vlog, and so I think I've got the lighting okay, not excellent, to do a few very short little recordings when I knit on this in the evenings. Now, I've cast on and I haven't gone very far because I've already seemed to have hit some confusion in the pattern. I'm kind of lucky because I don't quite have Noma Ndlovu on speed dial, but she did say that I could message her if when I was working on the pattern. And I think I'm going to have to take her up on that. Of course, that's not just because I'm special. I mean, most designers are available to deal with any confusion, which is a wonderful added value, I guess, that many designers offer. But yeah, these very quickly, once you start, she refers to a marker, but hasn't told me where to put it, or maybe I missed it. And I'm just a little confused by literally 3 lines into the pattern. So I'm a little disappointed in myself, and I'm not going to knit much further, but I will probably reach out to Noma by email and just ask her about what I don't understand and get back to this another evening in the week if I get a chance. But yay! Hi everyone, me again. So, where are we? It is 9:30 on Saturday night, and I think I probably last recorded. Could it have been a week ago? It's been a while. Let me update you. So, I I knit and knit and knit, and it's all quite floppy, so it's not going to be easy to show. Oh, show the wrong side. But I basically have what I think is the bit of the back. Obviously, there's no point in, but we're not there yet. But so that's beginning to look like something. And then I started the front, and I've put this little piece on hold, and I'm going to do the other side of the front and basically do the same thing I did. And eventually I'm going to join in the round. I was off to a slow start because I was misreading the pattern. I was misreading the pattern, and because I was misreading the pattern, I was terribly stuck. I did reach out to Noma. She was very gracious, responded and explained. But even her explanation, I was like, okay, but that doesn't... Because I was being a real nitwit, and there's just some basics. Like, I was reading a part of her... Sometimes, with patterns, there's something in a box that is like a rule for the whole pattern. And then there's the pattern itself. And I had started, and I hadn't understood that bit I was reading was in a little box, and it was like a general instruction. And the pattern actually, the real pattern started underneath it, I know. Anyway, let's not shame anybody, but as in me. But anyway, I figured it out. And then I realized, and then whoop, I was A4 away. So I'm going to this evening, or for some of this evening that's left, I need to get to bed. Because my kids wake up quite early, I'm not, as much as I would love to be a night owl and just knit the night away, I don't do that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Because, night owl or not, when the hour strikes in the morning, there my boys are saying, Mama. Okay, so it's not the neatest thing in the whole wide world. I could always come back and fix that. I just did mattress stitch. It would have looked so seamless almost. Obviously, there'd be a seam, but it would have looked so neat to just have picked up those stitches. I'm slightly mortified that I made that mistake, and I'm a little embarrassed, but I know I'm amongst friends. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to make this again one day, and I think I'll make it in a slightly more luxurious yarn. I was thinking I've never used Knitting for Olive. That would be a real treat. Maybe I'll do Knitting for Olive silk, raw silk, held double, which would be an expensive garment, and how nice that I've already made it. I've made all the mistakes already and learnt, and hopefully do better next time. Hi, so it's been a while, I think, since I recorded. The last time I kind of chatted about the Zukhanye, I'd made a real mess. I'd made a real mess, and I don't know, it's a combination of rookie-ish error, perhaps me not being as careful as I ought to be. Again, I am someone who never reads the whole pattern, even though I know you ought to, and it's the right thing to do. Yeah, I just, and it's happened a little bit more. So anyway, you see that, and I'll put some B-roll because I tried this on earlier today, but I've made progress. But beginning the garment is not fiddly at all. I'm not going to say it's fiddly. I'm just going to say I wasn't perhaps paying attention the way I ought to have. And as a result, I made silly mistakes. You know, it's a bit embarrassing, but I'll do it. I'll take one for the team. I mean, like I didn't join. I knit the back, and then you're supposed to pick up stitches from the top of the shoulder and continue the front. I didn't do that. So as you may have seen, I had these two flappy shoulder pieces. I had to rip back, of course. And then even since then, there was silly things like there was something silly I was doing. It's funny how you forget it, and I should have taken notes. There was something with the increases that I just wasn't doing well. Anyway, once I'd seen the flames, I started paying very careful attention to the pattern. I started reading ahead, rereading, going back, and all for the best because I then have made quite fast progress. This is the 2nd of January, so I've been making good progress. I'm on leave just with my kids who are on holiday, and we've managed to be, to sort of get into a groove, and I'm able to knit, around them when they're playing or they're drawing. So I've actually been able to make, in sort of 2-3 days, really good progress. Oops, that's the back. And I'm at this point where she says, knit to the waist. I'll knit a bit longer, but, I'll knit. I think I'm getting to 20, but that's not like my navel's all the way down here. My husband's shorter than me, and he's always making fun. He's always with good humor, talking about the ways in which I'm so long. Anyway, I'm loving it, and I find it very beautiful. As you'll see, I put the B-roll of when I tried it on. That was quite some centimeters ago. So I'll do another one when I decide to stop. So she says stop, block, wet block, full block, don't just steam block, because now is the time when you're going to start to add the pockets. I'm so excited about doing pockets. I think it's so cool. It'll be my first ever knitted pockets, and I think it's super cool. I'm very excited about this aspect of the design. Now, something I will actually do, so I'll knit to my navel. Oops, sorry, I hope that's not bothering the mic too much. I'll knit to my navel and stop there for the wet block. But I'll come back and I'm actually going to do the finishing for the armholes and the neck. Because we all know that those kind of finish, it's a ribbed finish, I've forgotten what specifically, but we know that hikes it up a time, even fractionally. And being so long torsoed, I really want to get that. I want to get the length right and the height of the pockets right. So I've decided I'll do that. So I'll knit, get to my belly button, stop, and come back and pick up the thing, and then check again. And if it's moved a little bit away from my belly button, I'll do a little bit more. So sorry, I hope the lighting's okay. And as you can see, I'm in a completely different place. I'm just trying to make this vlog thing work because, yeah, you can't wait for perfection to do vlogs, I've learned. So I'm loving it. It's beautiful, the fabric. I mean, so I'm knitting this, in fibra natura, and gosh, it's wonderful. And you kind of see it in the skein and think, okay, whatever. But when you wear this and the way it touches my skin and the way it drapes, the way it feels, it has 23% silk, and you feel that 23. Sometimes you don't feel the percentage. I think you feel that percentage. And I couldn't have picked a better color for my skin tone. I run cool with my colors. I prefer kind of cool colors. And this is a very cool, and it is coming up pretty accurately, I would say. It's a very cool gray. And none of the other, they don't have a ton of colors. And then because of the silk and cotton mix, it's got a little bit of, it's a bit, I don't know if you call that tonal, or, you'll see that it's got flecks, let's say. And I didn't really love how those flecks showed up in the few colors that they do have. But I really like how it's showing up with that's better when I lean in. Hey, if I go back, it's a bit, anyway, move my stool. I love how those flecks show up here. And when I put it on, I think it's going to be very beautiful. I was worried about the size. I knit the size 2, and I was like, oh, is it right? So I was quite in a rush to try it on and make sure, I'm quite small busted, and I just wanted to make sure that it was doing what it needs to do. And it feels and looks, I think it's going to be beautiful. It's Stockinette City, guys, and I love Stockinette City. So, and Noma, I remember in the pattern description, does say it's meditative knit, and it's, so I'm pretty much in meditation land and loving it. I love the fabric that this makes. I really love the fabric that it makes. I don't know if, and this is the lovely, oops, they're not loose stitches. This is the lovely increase she has you do, down the, I don't know if you can see that sort of detail. Not sure it's coming through, but worth a try. The light, it looks kind of slightly transparent, but it isn't, don't worry. I'm just going to hold it up a little bit. After the kind of the baptism of fire of starting it and all my silly mistakes, it's nice to just be in a fairly, well, I'm now getting to pockets. Pay attention. I have no idea. I haven't even read ahead. So I will, of course, read ahead through the pockets, learn that lesson now, and understand how it works, and put them in. I know that cotton can stretch, so I really want to get the height of those pockets right. I wonder, I'm just thinking now, because I'm wearing pockets. I love pockets. Pockets are like a revolution, I think. And these pockets are perfect. So I will think of the garments I have that have pockets and think of the height at which they're occurring based on my waist. And I'll do all of that sort of thing to check. And I'll remember that this might stretch a teensy bit. I think the silk, does silk stretch? But I'll just remember that it might stretch a little bit, and so keep that in mind. That it would probably pull down eventually, so make it higher rather than lower, basically. And that's me. I don't think I have much else to say. I thought I would, I'm sort of now far and away because I think the last time I was mucking around. So I thought I would come back and just say I made it and we're going well. And I think I'll come back here when it's time for pockets and talk a bit about the pocket experience. Oopsie. Ooh, there we go. A little bit too quick there. Oh, I made a mistake. Um, but yeah, see you around. You knit up to a point. You knit till you get to the hips, and then you block, which I did. And then you come back and you separate back and front, and that's how you get the pockets in. It's quite clever. And so I'm now knitting back and front, the front, and then I'm going to knit back and front the back. That way you get the gap for the pocket. Then you join again, I presume, and then down you go. And then I guess you get the pockets in. It's really clever, and I'm very excited about making pockets. And I thought this was a good thing I did, so I'll mention it. To really make sure the pockets would be in the right place, I actually realized I have a dress very similar. Of course, the neck is not the same, and it's made out of cotton. And I should say it's made by a dear friend of mine, and the fabric was gifted to me by another dear friend. So, and I wear this thing almost every day. I'm the kind of I can wear stuff every day. I don't mind, I don't have to look different. You know what I mean? Anyway, so this has pockets. This has pockets. I'm not going to stand up. It's just too messy to stand up. But this has wonderful pockets, and I've got long arms, long torso, and these pockets are wonderful. I can stick my hands in, and the hands are straight, and they fit in the pockets. So I thought, I want pockets like this. So I actually measured from the shoulder to where the pocket starts, and got that number, measurement, length, and measure, and used that as a way to say this is where the pockets need to start. So I'm feeling quite confident. Let's see if that little thing worked out. But it's a nice kind of pointer if you find that you have a garment with a pocket that you like and that works well. Then you could measure this, a dress ideally, you could measure against that to be able to really get a nice fitting pocket. What else? So yeah, I blocked it. I thought it blocked really well. I don't think the length changed that much. And I think that's why the pattern has you block some things will grow. I mean, I think silk's supposed to grow. Anyway, this is a silk and cotton blend, and it seemed to do just fine. I'm liking it so much. Each time I do a try on, I'm just ecstatic, and I can see that I'll live in this. And I think DK cotton is often a little too warm in my summers, but this kind of cotton silk blend has a real smoothness and lightness to it that I think I could wear this in the heart of summer, and I think it'll be okay. That's what I'm thinking. I might be wrong, but I'm thinking I could handle this. I can't wait to wear it. I've also decided, it's my birthday on the 3rd of February, and I've decided I'm going to knit this through January and have this be my birthday dress. I'm not a big party person. I don't particularly like throwing myself parties, so I doubt I will have a party. But my partner often sneaks around and gets people to come and so on. So if he does that, regardless, in fact, I'm going to wear this on my birthday. I'm going to wear my dress for my birthday. So it's nice to have also a bit of a deadline. I think I can make it. I'm nearing the end of the row. I want to show you. Oopsie. Let's show you what we got. I'll try to. It's the cameras too. I'll hold it back. You can see that line. I think the line will be fine. I'm not worried about it. I think I've washed it. I think that's the line where I blocked. I think it's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. But look at that. It's so, it works for me. And this is the back. So obviously the back I need to then pick up and do. So you knit for a certain length to get the pockets gap, and then you continue. I also put the ribbing in. You know how much I love ribbing. And it's twisted rib. I mean, it's half twisted rib, which I find just tolerable. I can't stand full twisted rib. I'm even suspicious of half twisted rib. I just think rib is fine. You don't need to do anything to rib. But considering this wonderful half twisted rib detail that runs all the way down the front, I think it makes sense to mimic the sharpness of the knit stitches, because the twist is with the knit stitches. I need to say, picking up for this neck was diabolical. Picking up for this neck was diabolical. And it's interesting with the pickups. She doesn't give you a pickup rate. She doesn't say pick up every or every other or every, which is probably wise, because I imagine with the range of sizes she has, and it's very size inclusive, I imagine that it could be many things. So it's, for me anyway, it was a very much a instinctual pickup. And I picked up, when I picked up the sleeve, I did it a few times because I picked up every other. Then I thought, oh no, that's way too many. Then I did something else. Oh no, that's not gonna, and I had to feel my way. But I must say by the end, I was just using my eye and understanding, like, okay, skip a few. Okay. Which is, it's quite nice to get to that point. But I'm very proud of the neck because it was diabolical. And then, yeah, anyway. So it's so nice, and it just feels so nice. It's so soft. It's so light. Because of that silk, it's so kind of light. I mean, of course, you're going to get a full garment, so it'll get heavier and heavier. But I'm having a blast. I'm having an absolute blast with this. And the thought just, would I make another black one? The reason I'm doing like that, I don't know if I like black. I'm not a big, I don't actually wear a lot of black. I would, and that black for Fibra Natura is black. I would sooner wear, what do they call it, like gunmetal, like, so I don't know if is that a color? But I would sooner wear like charcoal, like a charcoal, like it's not, it's got some, whereas this black is quite solid, and I don't think I would. I have a black dress here. I wear it to funerals. Like, I'm not much of a black wearer, but I was just looking at other colors. There's no other color there that I would want the dress in. There's a color they call mink. Maybe I'll put a picture of it. And I'm curious about it. You never know with the picture on a computer, like on the website, whether it's, but it's the closest color of all. The colors they have are very, the word I'm looking for is pastel. Is that what they call it? Like very pastel color? Which is not, pastel is the worst thing I could wear. It's just not for me, pastel. And their colors lean towards a kind of a pastel tones. The mink is like the only one that has like a little bit of depth to it that I think, I could do something with this. Anyway, look at me. I have no business buying more yarn. I've got yarn. But I wanted to just update about that. And I'm going to be knitting away. So I'm just going to go for it. And you'll probably hear from me again after I put the pockets in and do a try on. Actually, you put the pockets in last. No, yeah, you hear from me again when it's time to put the pockets in, because by then I'll have finished the length of the dress, and I would have done the ribbing, and then all that would be left to do is to put the pockets in. See you then. I'm knitting the last bit of dress. Basically, after you join back after the pockets, the pattern asks you to, knit a certain length, and you can obviously amend the length. The sample that Noma knits on the pattern, in the pink version, I think sits a little beneath her knees, if I remember correctly, and I would prefer mine to sit kind of just above my knees or on my knees. That's a length that I like. So I'm sort of knitting and measuring, trying it on. I think I have about a couple more centimeters to go, maybe about not quite 3, but a bit more than 2. I am measuring constantly. And then I went back and forth about this, but the pattern has it optional to do back shaping. And I even reached out to Noma, and she very kindly responded. And I was just saying, I wanted to get a sense of her thinking about. She says it's optional. What does it add? I've never made a dress before, or even a skirt, so I just have no idea of structurally, kind of, or even visually, from a design perspective, what that shaping does. I understand the concept of it, because you then do short row shaping at the back so that the back becomes longer than the front, and I know that that's also for fit, and we all have different bodies and so on. And she gave me some really good input, and I've decided to do the short row shaping. So I will do the shaping, and then after that you do the ribbing, and then I'm done. I still need to sew the pockets in, but I decided I'm going to do that very, very last, and I'll do that by hand, and then I'll be done. Today is Thursday the 20. Let me check. Where's the date when you need it? Nowhere to be found. I think it's the 29th. Anyway, long story. I wanted to be done for my birthday. I thought I could wear this on my birthday. I'm not having a party or anything, but just wear it on the day of my birthday. Let's see. I'm not going to push it, but if I can, I will. And I'm so excited. This is a very quick impromptu note about length. So obviously, in terms of length, you do the length that suits you. I guess that goes without saying. I was lucky to have a dress, a cotton dress, an A-line dress, sort of similar in style to the Zukhanye. And so I've used it, for instance, to find the right position for my pockets. And I decided to use it for length as well, because it's at a really great length. I'm quite tall. And in my later years, I don't enjoy wearing things that hang below my knee. I don't find it flattering. I guess if I'm going to wear something long, then it has to go all the way, to my ankles, or like mid-calf. or even lower. I haven't worked out, but really a sweet spot for me has become just above the knee or in the middle of the knee. Just below the knee even is not great. If it's going to be long, then properly long, but not just below the knee. So I really wanted to get this right because I want this to be a comfortable dress I reach for. I also occasionally wear quite short things, but I feel a bit self-conscious when I do. And I don't want this to be that kind of garment that I'm like, is it the right day? Is it the right occasion? I want to just know that it's, for me, the perfect length. But what I realized when I was measuring it against the length of my favorite cotton dress is that, of course, this is going to stretch. This has got much more stretch, this kind of weaving, than obviously the very fine cotton weft. So I actually decided to stop kind of just above my knee, because I imagine over the years it will drape a bit, and of course a droop maybe even, and it will wear in that way, and obviously the weight of the dress itself will pull it down a little bit. So rather start a little higher and anticipate that it will drop over time. So I just wanted to mention that the two little pointers. One, if you find that you have a dress that is similar in style, use it throughout to keep gauging. And then with length, remember that, I guess depending on what fiber you're using, but any fiber, even cotton, will stretch. This is cotton and silk, but it will stretch over time. Anyway, so I stopped sort of adding length, and I'm now working the short rows back and forth on the back, and then I'm gonna do the ribbing, and we're done. Also, something I forgot to mention, I may have picked up a fairly small typo. Nothing, I think it's something that any fairly experienced knitter who's done short rows will pick up on. But I did want to mention this in case there are any beginners that are watching this and then wanting to knit the dress. When she starts with the short rows, she says, knit to the last stitches. And I think it should say knit to the last stitch before the marker, or knit to the last two stitches, or, I think it should, again, I think it's fairly easy to pick up, but I'm, to be fair, not the most experienced short row. I've done short rows, of course, but oh goodness, losing stitches. I've of course done short rows, but it's not like I'm an expert in short rows. But I could sort of tell, like, okay, I think I know what she means, and I just got on with it, and I think I did the right thing. But I wanted to just mention that because it could throw you off a little bit, and it need not throw you off, because it's just the standard way that you would begin short rows. You would knit to a point, turn the work, and slip a stitch and pull it. But like it seemed to me, and I might be wrong, because as I've been wrong several times with my silly mistakes, so I might come back and say, no, I was wrong. And I might even just message Noma just to say, like, in good faith, like, oh, I picked that up. Is that an error, or am I reading incorrectly? But I think it's right, and I wanted to just mention that to help people. Okay, see you soon. Just a quick handheld note about the last steps of this dress. I went back and forth whether to do the back row shaping, and the back short row shaping, and I even asked Noma just for some of the rationale behind the shaping. I'm quite skinny. I don't have a particularly large behind, and I wanted to check whether the kind of body I am, I probably shouldn't bother with the shaping. But she talked about the particular profile of the skirt and how beautiful it is and how kind of elegant, and that it drops a little towards the back, and that was deliberate. And I really wanted to make what she envisioned, because that's part of the joy, of course, of making patterns by designers you appreciate and like. So I did the short rows, all 8 of them. And then I put it on and I wasn't sure, and then I took pictures and I said, Noma, sorry, keep harassing you. It's like, does that look right? Does it look, and I really, so she said, no, it looks beautiful. It's time to do the ribbing. And I was heartened by that, but I was still like, I don't know. And I kept looking for projects and wanting to look on Ravelry, but unfortunately most of the projects aren't on Ravelry, and I really wanted to see what people's projects looked like and what that shaping at the back looked like. Oh, my hand is getting tired. And I couldn't find it. And then I went to Noma's Instagram to look at all her extra pictures, because in the pattern itself, there's one picture. And I went to Noma's Instagram and I found images and I saw what that shape, because I always thought, no, it's perfect for her because we have quite different bodies, but like it's going to look weird on me. And I saw that she also had that beautiful kind of dropping at the back. And I saw, yeah, no, that is the intention. And then I went on to like Pinterest and, just the internet, and I Googled, A-line skirt long at the back. And I just kept on looking at images and trying to understand that profile and what it provides. And did I like it though? And was it? And I went to bed. I put the project aside for kind of half a day while I was going back and forth. And then I went to bed. I woke up and then I decided, okay, I'm either going to rip back completely all the way back to no short rows. I'm going to rip back 4 of the short rows because 8 is a lot. Or I'm going to do nothing and it's perfect and start the ribbing. And how am I going to decide? I'm going to try it on. Up till now, I've been trying it on like a little lazy person trying on, where you don't take the needles out completely and you just put the barber cord on for as long as you need to loosen it up a bit so that you can try it on. But I decided, no, I needed to see how this would look. All that's left technically is the ribbing. So really, this is what it's going to be like. So I got the longest barber cords I could find. Shout out to barber cords. What technology there is in that simple piece of tool. But particularly because this is probably the most stitches I've ever had on a needle, well, apart from when I've made blankets. But I put it all on a barber cord and I put it on. And you know what? It looks great. Noma's right. It looks great. I'm going to go now and do the ribbing. See you later. So there were a few last things that I did that I do want to make sure I mention. After I went ahead and I did the short rows and I did the diabolical hem and I finished the hem, it was a lot of stitches. I never counted in the end, but it was a lot of stitches. I had saved the pockets for last. I had made the pockets, just the separate pockets, but I hadn't put them in. And I wanted to say firstly that I used my machine both times. I used my sewing machine to, as you would have seen, I used my machine to sew the pockets together. And then I actually, in the end, decided not to do it by hand when I sewed the pockets into the garment itself. And I wanted it to be quite neat. And I think I've accomplished that. I was worried initially, but it blocked out really well. And I'll put a bit of B-roll just showing you some of the detail of the pockets, because pockets, as I learned, are potentially fussy. And, those are the bits of detail that can end up looking messy or can actually look so tailored and really beautiful. And I'm not saying these are perfect. There are things I might do differently, and I'll tell you in a moment next time. But all in all, I actually like it. And I'm going to step back a little bit so you get to see how the pockets look when they're just kind of there, because I think that's important as well. So I'm just going to move this a teeny bit. Let me see if I can move back far enough for you to see. So I think you can, I'll step on my tiptoes, but you can see that it's actually quite handsome, if that's the right word. I hope this is clear. If it's not, I'll put B-roll. But you can see that it's actually, it sits, it's not awkward, it's not bunching. I was worried about it bunching because, of course, this is DK weight cotton. It's not like fingering. And so I wondered if I did it again, would I play around and actually like make the pockets out of a completely different material to aid them sitting as flat as possible? Because that was the one thing, the bunching and the hems and the seams inside. I think I worked it out in the end, particularly with an iron. I did go back afterwards and very carefully with a very lightly heated iron, just press where the pockets were to help it flatten, to help those seams flatten. So that's one little tip. The other thing that was quite funny was, of course, I have blocked this. I mean, I didn't, you're not trying to stretch cotton, but I washed it before I wore it. And I was really pushing to be able to wear it on my birthday, which I was by midday. It wasn't dry till about midday. But what I noticed was, and it's just a funny story. The birds got a bit of a got in there because I put it in my garden because that was where there was sun, and there were at least two bird poops that I found when I went to check on it at different times in the day. Luckily, it was very dainty poops, nothing too dramatic, and I was able to wash it off and whatever, a bit of detail there, a bit of maybe it's TMI. But the one tip I wanted to say was, when it was time to wear the dress and I put my hands in the pockets, I realized that they were still quite damp. And obviously, because it's so much more fabric, it's basically 4 layers of fabric versus just the one layer of the dress, I ought to have pulled the pockets out when it was drying to really support that it would dry fully as a garment. Obviously, everything is now dry. This is the day after my birthday, and I'm wearing it again so that I can wear it for a full day. And I love it so much. I have slight concerns that it's not super heavy. I should have weighed it. Maybe if I do, I'll put the weight there. It doesn't feel like it's dragging or like, and you don't, you can also see from how it's wearing, you're not kind of seeing it drag, but there's always that concern that it will sag and drag over the years. I'll wear it very carefully, and well, I love it so much. I'm also in danger of wearing it every day. Let me just confess. But I'll be careful with it, and I'll store it carefully as well. I might actually do a bit of research the best way to store it. I mean, I guess you just fold it. You can't escape the lines, the fold lines, but you definitely don't hang it in your wardrobe. I know I'm not going to do that, but I'll fold it away carefully and wear it on special occasions. But I love it so much that also I think it's important to wear garments you love. So it's a bit of a tricky thing. Maybe the answer is to make a second one. And I am actually thinking of it. It'll be incredibly expensive, but I think if anything happens that I really want to reward myself about, maybe whatever, something happens with my book or, I get some bonus somehow, I will buy myself some Knitting for Olive silk. I would have to hold it double, I think, to get DK weight because I know it's quite a fine fiber, which is why this will cost the earth. Or maybe I could find a more affordable silk. By the way, if anybody has any, I mean, I live in South Africa. I travel occasionally, so I can sometimes get hold, and I have friends that live all over the world, and so I'm sometimes lucky to be able to get yarn from other places. But I'd love to make this in silk. And the original, Noma made hers in a beautiful Pearl Soho silk. I think it's cattail silk or something like that. And I would love to be able to make this in the intended, not the specific yarn, but the intended fiber, like this beautiful silk dress. So I think I will make another. I was so sweet. My sister-in-law saw me in it and said, "It's so you." And it is really kind of, I just think it's really good for my body. Of course, Noma Ndlovu writes incredible patterns that are made to suit all the various body types that exist. And so actually, as much as I feel like, oh, this really suits my body, I know that her pattern suits a range of body types. I really encourage you, if you've been on the fence about it, to make this dress. And I hope that this vlog that I've created has inspired you and can help you along the way. It's an excellent pattern, so there's nothing too complicated, but there are the little areas you want to pay attention to. And I've tried to include what I learned to help you along with your project. Until next time, happy knitting and take care. Bye. Thanks so much for watching.